Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Happy day, I'm Clare Calvo bringing you your weekly renewal.
Thank you for joining me for the second part with Rena Calvo.
But how about feeling good? How often? Rate your day. How was I feeling overall today? And when I had an upset, how quickly was I able to bounce back? That's resilience. It's not that we don't have challenges in life, but how quickly can I bounce back? And that shows your resilience. So am I able to use my tools of going for a walk, taking a time out, journaling, or meditating, or doing yoga, or doing something that's going to put you back to that space of equanimity? You can track that also as a goal of, I'm wanting to feel better, to have more emotional wellness by tracking how I work day by day, or how was I this week in following through with an action that I said I was going to do. So, it can be applicable both in the physical, the mental, and the emotional, and the spiritual. If I want to have a deeper connection with the source, God, whatever religion or spirituality you go by, then how often am I tracking about sitting still enough to have my prayer time? Right. And then I do a wheel of life. The wheel of life is an assessment. But you just do a circle, and then this is your pie of life. You'd have finances, career, family, and friends. How is your relationship with family, friends, fun and recreation, physical environment, your health, mental health, I'd say mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. Kind of track that, be totally honest, love with your significant other, and love with yourself, and other. Whatever other that's going to be for you. And then track from 1 to 5 and really sit with yourself. How satisfied am I with my finances? From 1 to 5, 1 being not satisfied, 5 being it's pretty good. I'm okay with that. And this is how you can track the specificity from looking at this and say, well, what area do I want to focus on for this first month of January, and set that up. Right? And then you can use this chart in various ways. Pick what area that you want to focus on. Be specific of what you want in that. I want to build my relationship with my mom and dad. I want to hang out more with this family member, whatever that might be, and track it. And then you can also use this to say, where am I thriving? And get into the feeling. It's more about the feeling, because when you feel like you're succeeding in everything, that can start trickling to other areas of your life. And then third, so far we got do the life review, basic coaching, SMART, and then doing the wheel of life, tracking it from 1 to 5, one very not satisfied, and that needs some help, and 5 feeling very satisfied. And then the third tip was definitely have an accountability coach or a friend that you're going to work with, and keep tabs on each other to stay on track, because your willpower and discipline is not going to be sustainable. Because other programs are going to convince you to go back to your old habits of thought that might say, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it. Oh, let me just cheat a little here and there. It's like when you have an accountable partner and you're excited about that goal. And then most important, I would say, future projection, working from the future back. And so what you would do is envision already done, that goal already achieved. What is that outcome? How would you feel when you attain that goal? And work from there. You go into a centered space, meditative space, and then you track forward. So you've already looked at the past, all the things you've accomplished. Here I am now. Track forward. What, a year from now? 5 years from now? Even just 3 months from now? Getting those gauges. And what would it be like to experience this goal achieved? Be it financial, in the financial realm, your work life, your creative life, your relationships. And from there, work it back, and even have a dialogue. I would do this more in my counseling. Having a dialogue with future self at what did you need to attain that goal? What were the actions that you took? And what did you need to know and feel about yourself to attain that goal?
How far ahead would you go? About a year?
I think it would be also good to track it based on what your goal is that you want to achieve, and that would bring in that basic formula of what's considered realistic. Like,
But I'm
you know,
saying, how far in the future would you go?
Oh.
About a year?
very
5
often in
years?
coaching they'll say 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah. 5 years, but and that might be too much for someone. I would just even do it short. I like small steps. Small steps. So even how will I feel like 6 months from now?
Yeah.
And you know, what's committable? What are you able to commit to?
Yeah.
And say, okay, that's doable. I can do that. And then one day at a time. What is that one action step that you're hearing from your future self? No one's prescribing it to you. You kind of like say, what's going to work for me? And I'm okay with, and staying on board with that, with an accountability partner that you are calling each other, quick check-in, 7 a.m. before work or something. Okay, did you do this? Yes, I did it. Didn't, you know, how are you feeling? Good, you know, whatever.
Right.
And reminding each other of what you're aiming for. See yourself already there, even taking that one moment. See yourself already achieving what that is in your personal relationships, in your finances, you know, and that's the power of our visualization, the power of our mind.
Absolutely.
And anchoring that, conditioning the subconscious mind in that.
Thank you so much. That
Yeah.
was a lot, and I'm sure, you know, people could, you know, it's also going to be on YouTube. They could look back and kind of go through each of the different things. But before we close, I want to just ask, so, you know, I feel like each day is kind of just the microcosm of the macrocosm of the
Yeah.
year. So when we set intentions or resolutions or whatnot for the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
it's important that we also think about that on our daily.
Oh, for sure.
daily. So can you just share with us, what do you do? What is your daily practice to anchor you in equanimity and homeostasis?
You know, there's a lot of resources available. I'm a student of Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza. So I do priming. I find that I'm a physical, kinesthetic person. I need to move before I sit still. So I usually do the breath work, and it's called priming, if you ever want to look at that on Tony Robbins. And then Joe Dispenza's work, he has a lot of great meditations, and just sitting still with that. There are other meditations of really eliminating negative thoughts. So you're just clearing your mind and eliminating things that no longer serve you, programs that are no longer serving you.
So you start with
Just-
meditation and
Yeah,
breath work.
yeah. And then I work out. So I'm physically, mentally, spiritually tuned in. You're setting the tone for the day. If you start off with, grouchy, very often it's not a very good day.
Yeah.
And
It's up to you to switch.
and positive affirmations.
Yeah.
It's like really affirm, and there's so many resources available to us. We get to choose where we're going to focus and how we're going to spend those early morning hours
Absolutely.
to really set the
Or
tone.
even if you just have 30 minutes, whatever you could get
Right.
in there, right?
Right. Take a moment to breathe.
Thank you so much, Rena.
My
that
pleasure.
was very helpful.
My pleasure.
And thank you all. Happy New Year. I'll see you next time on your weekly renewal.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.